I think we are headed for a war, just like you said. We're headed for war, and it's not a war that we're starting. It's not a war that the people, the conservatives, the people on the right, it's not a war that we're starting. It's a war that's starting with Google, doing what they're doing, working with China. I mean, seriously, if you did that, they would be trying to put you in jail right now.
If I was selling out anything to the Chi-Coms, I'd be arrested.
Yes, absolutely. Anybody would be arrested. But see, they can do it because of all the money. And for some reason, I don't understand how they're able to get away with it. They commit these crimes and look the other way, get away with it. But there's a spiritual battle that's coming to the planet, that is on the planet, and people's minds are changing either for the good or the bad. People don't like you talking about what these evil people are doing, and then as soon as you start talking about it, they want to attack you.
But I want to just say something here, because during the break, I was thinking about this, and I'm not going to tell this historical factoid because Will Johnson's black. It's some virtue signal. I was just thinking about how, I talk so much and I'm on air so much, a lot of times I'm just kind of running through it, even though I totally believe it and I'm upset about it. This stuff's so epic, it's almost just like, it's almost a crime just to sit here and talk about it. But we're trying to take action as well on the street. It seems like there's nothing you can do that's enough. But I was thinking about, on my mom's side of the family, she had wealthy ancestors in New York that were Christians. And they were early abolitionists. They were also big Christians, obviously. And even though Texas had slavery and things, they also came down here because you couldn't have Protestant teaching. So they came down here with Bibles and stuff, separate, and helped establish Texas. And they always say Texas was established for slavery. That's not true. Santa Anna was a dictator. But back when people like my ancestors were against slavery, because my mom's family was from the North back then, my dad's from the South. I mean, they've been in Texas since the 1820s, so you can say we're from the South or whatever. But the point is, Texas isn't really the South. Nothing against the South. It's kind of a crossover of the West and the South. That it was less than 1% in 1800 that were abolitionists. And the left always attacks Thomas Jefferson because he tried to end slavery in the first Declaration of Independence, but they wouldn't let him. And they go, oh, well, he had a black girlfriend and all this stuff. Well, what does that even mean? It was the time they lived in. But the point I'm getting at is, that's not why I brought this up. There was less than 1% that thought it was wrong to have slavery in 1800. And by the end of the Civil War, 66 years later, it was the majority of the country, including in the South. So our ideas are powerful, and that's why they want to shut us down. I was just thinking about how we are, those of us that are vocal and involved, a minority. But we are telling the truth, and what we're saying is popular. And so that's why they're trying to shut us down. So we're having this 50-hour broadcast as a focal point, not to sit here and peck at the listeners and say, do more to get the word out, but just to point out, we don't have any other rights if we don't have that First Amendment like people did 219 years ago to say that all people are created by God and slavery is wrong. And it's that simple. So the basic First Amendment is being thrown out in front of everybody right now. I need a water, thanks. And a little bit of ice left here. What I'm getting at here is, I've been up since about 5 a.m., sorry, is that when you sit there and you look at the Joint Chiefs of Staff chairman and you look at the defense secretary saying the Chinese government controls basically everything we've got, and you see governors saying we're going to abort babies after they're born, this country's far gone. And I don't say that to piss on the country. It's like Merle Haggard said, I don't mind people standing up for what they believe in. But if you just want to be here and say the country sucks all day and then try to overthrow it, that's not your free right. You're a seditionist. And so what I'm really trying to get at is this. When I tell you how much trouble we're in, I'm not doing it to sit here and run the country down. I love the country. I've studied other countries, and I'm proud of America. But let me tell you, America's worst problems Thank you. All right. America's worst problems are nothing compared to China. When I say that number, that's not just a number. 5 times what Hitler killed. Hitler killed around 15, 20 million people. And like Stalin said, 1 man dies is a tragedy, 10,000 die, or 1 million dies is a statistic. Think about that. That's 15, 20 million, depending on whose numbers you look at. Nuremberg said about 20 million. The Russians said maybe 15 million. That's just people that killed at gunpoint. They killed, the Germans killed 22 million Russians. That's an official number. So I guess technically, now the Chinese have only killed 3 times what the Nazis did. But actually lining people up or shooting them or, gassing them, 15, 20 million people. And people say, well, that won't happen here. When you start letting governors run around and say we're going to keep babies comfortable and harvest their organs, and you've got Beto O'Rourke agreeing with it, we're in a lot of danger, folks. And when you sit there with the Chi-Coms that have killed over 115 million of their own people, and they're totally bloodthirsty, and it's just horrible. And our own government, until Trump got in, wants to work with them. Do you understand how much damn danger we're in? And listen, I don't just say that to be dramatic. When you think about, if I sat here with a 10-year-old, which I'd never do, and put a gun to their head and blew their head off on TV or slit their throat, it'd be Alex Jones is the biggest demon in the world, put him in the gas chamber, or put him in lethal injection or the electric chair, or firing squad, and you'd be right. But I wouldn't do that. But if you kill 115 million people, not counting all the 50 million girls they've aborted or killed after they're born, they don't count them as human, like Governor Northam says. Can you get your mind around that? Can you get your mind around killing 115 million people? How many, can we do the math? How many is 115 million divided by 100,000? Can somebody do that for me on their phone or whatever? Because think of a sports stadium of 100,000 people, and you think every damn one of them gets starved to death or shot in the head or worked to death. And then you think about what we're facing. And then you think about who's running down America and telling us how much we suck all day. It doesn't mean we're perfect. We're far from perfect. Our best work's dirty rags, like the Bible says. But America didn't kill 115 million people. And man, the liberals love China. This guy that shot up Christchurch said he loves communist China. What's that tell you? Because China holds the record in killing their own people. Will Johnson's with us till 15 minutes of the next hour. Then we'll air a special report that's very powerful. And then Rob Dude's taking over. And I'm ranting here. I'm telling people the negative. Will, I don't even have a script here, as you know. Just from the gut level. The negative of the world and the good of the world. Like, you know, and that's all I'm trying to get at here is we're living in an epic, historic time. And I wanted to get you on about censorship in the world and, you know, the great job you did co-hosting the show the other day. But what's your takeaway on what I'm saying and what's your view on it? Because it's the best of times, worst of times. But I've just got a burning in my brain and my gut and my chest, like I can't get air unless I'm fighting. And people just think, oh, we're so great, we're fighting. They need to get in the attitude of, if you're not fighting, you're dying. They ought to just get it that there's evil taking over and then we've got to fight it. People need to get that instinct is what I'm trying to say. And then we can change the world.
Yeah, you know what? I'm completely with you. I'm sitting there listening to you and I'm getting chills because I'm thinking and I feel the same way. And it's this rage just in me, just bubbling up, wanting people to wake up and realize what's happening to us. This chaos that we're all going through, we're living it right now. And to go right with what you're saying, to go right along with what you're saying, there's this mindset of people, the minds of people, they're changing. And it's remarkable to see this change take place. And people are just don't even realize that they're being affected by all of this. And they're seeing all of this crazy stuff going on. And for some reason, they fix it in their minds to believe it's okay. It's natural. This is the new way of order. This is the way the world's supposed to turn. I mean, for people to do, you know, to invite these grown men with beards and have dress on and to dance and parade in front of their children, talking about this is wonderful. I want to introduce my children to this. What's going on in their mind? What was planted in their head for them to think that this is something that is good for their children to be introduced to? These people are sick. Years ago.
I'm going to stop because you're more eloquent than I, but I got to say, I wrote notes. We're watching either people become more good or more bad. We're watching a transformation. People are becoming demonic all around us, and we're losing people, and it's a spirit. I think that's what you're saying is we're losing people, and we can feel the evil growing, and that makes us at an instinctive level get really upset.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The people we're losing, they're giving themselves over to a reprobate mind. They're giving themselves over to this demonic spirit that is taking over the planet. We're seeing that happen. Now, the people that, such as yourself and people that are waking up to it, they're not going along. And when we speak out against this craziness, they're demonizing us, saying, how dare you say something about this grown man with the beard prancing around in front of children? How dare you?
Spreading their legs in front of them when they're a convicted child rapist.
Yes, absolutely. And you're the bad one because you're the one saying something about it. You're the bad one. You're the racist. You're the bigot. You're the homophobe because you're the one saying, look what they're doing here. If they weren't doing the crazy stuff, I guarantee Alex Jones would be talking about it. Think about it.
So let me ask you this, Will, because you took 20 minutes of my rant and 3 minutes said it all. Where's it going? Because at a gut level, I'm just ready for war. I mean, I can't help it. I can feel that this is something big's coming.
Yes. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Everyone feels it. You're just expressing it. And a lot of people, sometimes people say, well, Alex Jones, he's like really aggressive in what he's doing. I completely understand it. And sometimes I'm on here and I just want to scream like, wake up. How do you wake people up when they just want to, sit down and sit on the couch and watch Netflix and watch the television and, pretend the world is not happening around them. The asteroids getting ready to hit the planet. And, I'm just going to ignore it all. That's exactly what's happening here. But see, the way you express yourself has absolutely people paying attention. Like, why is he acting this way? Because you care about people. You care about humanity. You care about America.
Well, you as well,
and people don't understand it.
How do we then get, because obviously something big's coming. What do you think that is? You've got the floor, gut level, as a man, a guy tuned into things, out there on the West Coast. What is going on?
I think we are headed for a war, just like you said. We're headed for war, and it's not a war that we're starting. It's not a war that the people, the conservatives, the people on the right, it's not a war that we're starting. It's a war that's starting with Google, doing what they're doing, working with China. I mean, seriously, if you did that, they would be trying to put you in jail right now.
If I was selling out anything to the Chi-Coms, I'd be arrested.
Yes, absolutely. Anybody would be arrested. But see, they can do it because of all the money. And for some reason, I don't understand how they're able to get away with it. They commit these crimes and look the other way, get away with it. But there's a spiritual battle that's coming to the planet, that is on the planet, and people's minds are changing either for the good or the bad. People don't like you talking about what these evil people are doing. And then as soon as you start talking about it, they want to attack you. But see, I don't talk about stuff unless you do it. Stop doing the crazy stuff, and I won't talk about it. It's really that simple.
And the left has gotten. Let me ask you this:
because of their brain.
What is peak leftism? How bad is it going to get? Because their bullying is only intensifying. Now they're banning Jordan Peterson. Now they're banning Ben Shapiro. I mean, it just seems there's no end.
Well, you know what? They're banning people because they can't stop people from making them think. When you have a lady that's living a homosexual lifestyle and she gets upset because her child is listening to Ben Shapiro, and then all of a sudden goes on to Jordan Peterson, then all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's listening to white supremacy. Oh my goodness, we got to shut them all down. We got to stop it. This really, if anything, let the child see the craziness that's taking place. But see, they want to censor us. We don't censor craziness. We want people to see the craziness.
Well, let me raise you that question, because you're right. They're trying to create a clash and make white people racist by having the media say that minorities are all racist, which isn't true. It's just not. It's mainly weird white leftist professors promoting it. But there haven't been many white supremacists or racists that I've known growing up that are white people, and not even that many minorities that are racist. But now there is some because of all the anti-white stuff. They want that clash of civilizations, and I'm really concerned about it. And the left knows exactly what they're doing, and I just don't see how people that are buying into it on either side don't get that it's in the WikiLeaks. They're trying to play us off when we're all getting chemtrailed, we're all getting GMO'd, we're all getting pushed deadly vaccine, we're all getting 5G'd. It's stupid.
Yep, you're absolutely right. It is stupid. I mean, Jussie Smollett is a prime example of what happened, how they're trying to push this whole thing, trying to create this racial war. And that's part of the reason why I wear my MAGA hat. Because they want white people to believe that white people are the problem. They try to make us, they're trying to convince us that white people are the demons in America and across the world. White supremacy is supposed to be on the uprise. It's not on the uprise. The only thing that's on the uprise is changing people's minds to believe this craziness. That's the only thing that's on the uprise. I agree with you that there's not an epidemic like CNN says of white supremacists. I'm saying, as a white guy in all the country, there was barely any of it, but now so many white people see all this racism against them, and we have to talk to them to make sure they get the big picture and don't fall into this crap. Oh, yeah, I'm completely with you. I constantly talk about it. You know what? I come on, do my broadcast, and I'm always talking about how they're trying to push this narrative that white people are the problem in America, specifically white men. And I keep talking about it mainly because, to give you an example, when Martin Luther King was here and he was talking about how the white Democrats were doing black people, he kept talking about it. And I can guarantee that someone black, some liberal, or somebody was telling him to stop doing it, but he didn't stop. I'm not going to stop until they stop. They are trying to reverse the roles. Back in the 50s and the 60s, the Democrats were attacking black people, putting them on the streets, hosing them down with water hose, sticking dogs on them. And now their goal is to do the same thing to white people. The common denominator is the left. The common denominator
you're right. They're doing the exact same
terrorism is the left.
They're doing the exact same bullying tactics.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're getting people to believe that white people are inherently bad just because they were born white. Just because they were born white. That's it. You don't have to have anything else. You can be helping everybody.
What the good part of what liberals believe in was common sense. When did that conversion happen?
Under Obama. It took, and I've said this before, it took Obama 2,922 days to just about to reverse everything Martin Luther King did. And now we have this great division in this country, and it's because of the left. Even the mainstream media is pushing it. This is unbelievable.
I was naive. I didn't support Obama, but I didn't like McCain either. So I just said, boy, they're both bad. And then I supported Romney over Obama because I knew he was bad, but Romney was a sellout. But the point was, I thought, wow, Obama will come in, will actually unify the nation. No, it got 50 times worse.
Yes, it sure did. It got a lot worse. And then even if you ask some black people today, what did Obama do for you? They don't even know. They can't even say anything. Why? Because Obama didn't do anything.
Let me ask you that. Why wouldn't he ever even go speak to a black neighborhood, but Trump will? Because it's true. Black folks we've had on said Obama literally just would not even respond in any way.
No, because he wanted to keep that division there. Remember, if I had a son, he would look like Trayvon. Oh, what happened then? The police were demonized. White police officers were demonized. And if you just happen to be a black police officer, you're a white Nazi police officer sympathizer. This is the goal. This is what they're trying to push. And let me ask you a question. When we had the Underground Railroad that was taking place in America, when you had runaway slaves leaving their slave masters, and they would try to run and hide, and they would hide in these homes that had these cellars and these underground caverns, what have you. Who owned the deeds to the homes that were hiding these black people? Think about that. And I present that question to a lot of people that come at me and they attack me that are black. Who owned the deed to these homes? They were white people. And then as soon as you say that to them, they shut down. And then they want to change the subject because they didn't think about it like that. Oh, yes, it was. It was white people that was helping black people. But today, the year 2019, they still got to wrap around their mind because they're being pushed this whole narrative that white people are bad.
It's like Christians are against abortion now, whether they be Christians don't care if it's a black baby or a white baby, don't kill them. And it was just Christians in the South and the North that said, this is wrong, it's got to end. And that
Yeah.
was, I mean, but that's all it was. But again, they were Republicans. And I'm not saying Republicans are perfect, but compared to Democrats, the Democrats are just a nasty group of people. What do you expect them to
Yes.
do with AOC and Beto O'Rourke, who's come out in support of abortion after birth? Look how they've walked that goalpost back. Now it's kill grandma, kill grandpa. Now it's, if a mother wants to kill a baby after it's born, kill it. That's violating law. They are just power grabbing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, they're wanting to push this whole thing about killing the unborn. And one of the things that I came up in my mind with my wheels turning, going around and around, you know, Herod wanted to kill the newborn because he thought a king was going to come and take his place. And see, all that was he was influenced by Satan. And what's happening now in the year 2000, Satan figured, or before the year 2000, what happened is Satan said, no longer am I going to wait until they're born to kill them. I'm going to attack them while they're in the womb. And people think it's good. I found there's this video that's floating around on Twitter, and I sent it to your producer, and it's floating around on Twitter with these crazy women. They're doing all this weird stuff, and you know what it made me think of?
Oh yeah, people are saying this is the equivalent of Diamond and Silk, but liberals.
Yeah, liberal. Yeah, but you know what? What it made me think? As soon as I saw the video, I thought of you. Because what they're talking about in the first part of that video, they're talking about how it's bad to have children. And I remember years ago that you were referring to how the left is going to push this whole thing to wipe people out on the planet and then trying to limit it to the number of people on the planet. You were saying this years ago, and I remember you talking about it.
Well, I'd
and
love
this
to
was
give
like during
myself
the beginning
credit.
stages.
I'm just going off the human thing, but we're going to play that clip in a minute.
Yeah.
But
you know what? I know you're not trying to take any credit, but the point is, I remember you talking about it just like it was yesterday. And the whole point is you talked about it years ago, and they have this whole thing trying to push that having children are bad. I remember Chelsea Clinton was sitting on a panel, was trying to convince people that having children, don't have children, abort them. Abortion is good.
AOC says the world's ending in 12 years. They want us to give up our life force.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, do you have any siblings?
I have 3 siblings.
And so which in line are you?
I'm number 1.
Now, I never asked him that, but I knew it. Now, I'm going to explain how this works right now. Nothing against second-born, third-born, fourth-born. Every top astronaut in the testing, they didn't even ask whether they were firstborn. Always, the entire Apollo program, all of them were firstborn. Now, I'm going to give you the big secret, and this has been proven genetically. And I knew this when I asked Will Johnson. It wasn't just Herod said, kill all the firstborn because he was fearing it. And by the way, they used to think, oh, that's just in Cecil B. DeMille's movies, 10 Commandments. That's what the Jews claim. They have dug up the cuneiform, the tablets, the scrolling on the walls. Cuneiform's in another area of the world. What's it called? Hieroglyphs in Egypt. And it wasn't just that the Egyptians did it to the Jews or other groups. They did it to their own people. And every couple decades, when they were having any problems, Pharaoh would order. But by the way, I looked this up in mainline history. The Druids would routinely order the firstborn. Sometimes the king had to be sacrificed, usually in a Burning Man, or they'd bash your brains out, slit your throat, and throw you into a peat bog, because they feared the ancestors. I'm explaining how God works. Everybody feels like, well, reincarnation must be real because I have these ancient memories. No, you're a new spirit, you're a new soul. But your body is all the genetics of all your ancestors spliced together. So your earth suit is your family going back. And it's been proven. IQ, success in business, everything is firstborn. And it's not just the experiences you had. There is genetically, particularly in males, they've proven a larger genetic transference to the firstborn. And that's why Pharaoh and all of them, Herod, the Aztecs, all of them, the ancient Druids, when they got into really bad times, they would target the firstborn. So we're getting into some really heavy stuff right now, is that they would target the firstborn because they learned that's who leads revolutions, which you already instinctively knew, but did you, Will, understand the whole firstborn thing and what all this means? Because that's exactly what you said is exactly what they're doing. They know statistically that if we have the full focus of who's supposed to be born to this world, There's going to be some powerful individuals. They're going to be Asian. They're going to be black. They're going to be white. They're going to be mixed. They're going to be everything. But they fear the future and the children.
You're absolutely right. And because they fear of what's coming and with people rising up to the truth, that's the part where they have to stop. I mean, you can't have people coming along and recognizing that, hey, this stuff is not right. This is not good.
No, I agree.
So how did they shut it down?
Because I keep ranting, and I'm going to run in here and hit the can real quick. But I'm listening to you, Will. Do you get? I didn't know you were firstborn, but I knew what you were going to say. And I'm not trying to say that you talk about a real elitism isn't whether you're black or white, and nothing against people that weren't firstborn. Do you understand that they've proven, and the enemy, the globalists know this, there is a race memory genetic transference of compressed data that happens in a firstborn when the child is basically even being formed as a zygote. The enemy knew this thousands of years ago. You brought it up, but do you understand that?
Yeah, I do understand it. But and that's where I said instead
you
of
brought
waiting.
it up. I know you understand it, but I want to hear from your gut level ethos that isn't even out of a book what you just spiritually said. I want you to keep going with that because we're going to tap into all those ancestors right now. This isn't magic. It's not mumbo jumbo.
No.
The enemy knows this. So tell us the leadership.
You know, so the leadership. I don't. You know what? It's really.
It's not you. It's your ancestors. So tell us what they're saying.
You know, it's saying that we as a people, the spiritual connection that we have to one another, to everything, the cosmos, the universe, us touching one another and not even being in the same hemisphere with each other. There's just connection with all of us. And if you have people that's coming onto the planet, that's making a true change, that is touching people and getting people to wake up and realize something to where they did not realize it before, that's what they want to stop. That's the part they have to change. They can't have people like myself and Alex Jones and Owen Shore and Rob Dew and the Infowars.com crew. You can't have people out there waking up, pushing out, and trying to fight the whole thing that the left, the demonic spirits are trying to bring onto all of us. And you know what? Being the firstborn, for me, I never really take it as, you know, I'm the firstborn, so I should be the leader. I never look at it that way. I never come across as that I'm the perfect person. If you want to talk about being perfect, I'm always in the back of the line because I have many flaws. But the thing is, I know who I am, and I'm still learning more about who I am. You know, doing what we're doing and talking to different people and coming in contact with other people, and when you meet new people, you get this sense about the people that you meet.
Yeah, you scan
it's a
their
negative
psyche,
vibe or it's a positive vibe.
And I'm interrupting you again. And the reason I brought this up, nobody's bad that's second-born, third-born, fourth-born, fifth-born. It's statistically, it's the spiritual connection, the leadership. Doesn't mean there aren't gifts for other people that aren't firstborn. It's just this is a secret the enemy knows, and they're literally throughout history seeking to kill firstborn males at critical points because they fear that leadership.
But yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you.
Look at the targeting of men to begin with Ritalin.
Yes. Well, especially, I mean, look at how they're targeting white men. I mean, look at it. I mean, the majority of the people in this country are white. So why not attack white men? They found it that it's easy targeted. They found it that it's easy to target white men because a lot of white men don't speak up and they don't say anything about it. They don't speak out against it. They just let it go on and then just walk away and just try to ignore it.
People that act and look like zombies, they could be black or white. They're not taking their birthright. I'm telling you, it's electrochemical, and because we're connected to every person before us. And this is not mumbo jumbo. You brought it up, and I was like, hey, Will, you're firstborn, aren't you? You were saying they want to kill the firstborn, and it's true. And so we need to think about why they're doing this, because they know that literally our ancestors, this is how God set this up, had all these experiences of compressed data. And for whatever reason, it's only expressed in the massive form in the firstborn male particularly.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? In the past where they were killing the firstborn, they did it because a leader was coming and they knew it. So now they're not waiting for that firstborn to be born. They're just trying to convince all of them to kill them beforehand.
No,
I
I
guess
agree.
in that case, it is the firstborn still.
And I'll say this because you get me thinking, that's why I'm interrupting. I'm going to shut up in a minute. I'll literally sit there talking to black racists sometimes because liberals are all racist. They actually know what they're doing at the top. And I'll say, hey, I don't hate you. If you're racist, don't like me, I don't like you because you're an idiot. But I'm like, half the black folks don't get born. And they never want to discuss it. They just go, shut up, crackerhead, all this stuff. Or they'll say there's too many black people. And I remember when I first went and protested at abortion clinics, there'd always be rich white people and rich black people there who would drive a Mercedes, you name it. And they'd say, nobody wants to adopt these black babies. And now we have footage of abortionists saying that. And so again, black people are being targeted just like everybody is, but particularly, so I know you're always focusing on how they're targeting white people to create racial division, and you're right, that's the current paradigm, but let's not lie. The Clintons targeted black people for triple the sentences that whites got. Why do you think, or disagree with me, black people have been targeted? Why do you think that is?
Why have black people been targeted?
Yes.
I mean, I think black people have been targeted, because they want to remove them off the planet. Margaret Sanger, the Clintons, even the current Democrats that we have today. I mean,
you're smarter than I am at a gut. I want your gut. Will Johnson, firstborn, ready to tell us, why are they scared of black people?
They're scared. Why are they scared of black people? You know what? That's a good question. Why are they scared of black people? I don't see. Okay, let me say it like this. You would have some that would come out and say that black people have a certain power on this planet, and they come from, Africa, the first place where men thrive from. I don't look at it like that. I look at it the way God intended it. God put us here together, and it's not to have us separated. They're scared of me. They're scared of black people because people like myself, because we don't want to come out and have this racial war. They don't want us to communicate with one another. And there's this deep,
they're scared of everybody.
Spiritual interconnection. They're scared of everybody. They're more scared of you and I getting along than me just being a black man by myself talking about the crazy stuff. They're more scared of you and I getting along.
And that's what they're scared of. They're scared
more afraid of that.
They're scared of us.
Yes.
They're not scared of you. They're not scared of me. They're scared of us. Because however God designed this, I was listening to this former Special Forces Congressional Medal of Honor winner, I forget his name. He came and spoke at a church I was at. Jesse James, great guy, took me to it. I forget the guy's name. But he explained, like, we're all in God's garden, and we all have skills that God's bringing us together towards some larger plan.
I completely agree. I was listening to this podcast years ago, and there was a group of ladies on there, and it kind of reminded me of the two ladies that we were just showing on the screen. And they were talking about the noosphere.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they were talking about the noosphere. And this was years ago, and it sounded loony. And they said people are about to come into a different mindset to where we're going to have the noosphere, where we're going to know certain things. And at the time when I was listening to it, they sounded perfect. And what's happening is that we are seeing people fall for this crazy stuff. I mean, what is it? Something in the water? Is it the fluoride in the water? Did they add something else to the water to get people to believe this crazy stuff that's happening that is okay? What is that? I mean, what is taking it over?
I actually know what it is, and that's why you get me more than anybody excited. That's why I interrupt so much, and I apologize, but I just can't shut up when you're saying stuff because I want to, say what you're saying from my view is absolutely right. They get us in a trance with the flicker rate, the TV, the culture, and the weaker-minded people, the followers, and I feel sorry for them, but they're followers. They're weak because we haven't been leaders. They've been put into a trance, and so if you go to a leftist meeting, they're like a bunch of zombies. They're in a trance.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I remember when I went to the leftist meeting with Kevin De Leon and confronted him about putting illegals before the American people. It was probably a room full of about 200 people, all of them white, except for a few, and I'm the only black male, and I'm the Trump supporter. And I asked the question, why are you putting illegals before the American people? And everybody in the room, it just became a whole uproar. They were attacking me. This was a church, mind you, and they started cursing me. And it's just unbelievable. goes right along with what you just said. They're being indoctrinated. They watch this propaganda. The CNNs, the MSNBCs of the world. They're feeding people. They're feeding people's spirit this craziness, and because their spirit is taking in this stuff, they don't know how to tell the difference between right and wrong any longer. It is total chaos. And it's like a subliminal message right in the frames. Yeah. Subliminal message to get you to believe something. And then when you tell people something, hey, that's not true, you know, the whole catchphrase, the truth hurts. That is true. That is true.
So,
Because
Will,
when
let
you
me
tell
ask you.
liberals the truth, especially if you stand on the street, they want to attack you.
So let me ask you this: just gut level response. It's always like, I say blue, you say, I say red, you say, just gut level, spiritual level. What's the best way to fight this? And then I'm going to ask you, what do you think's coming next? Because I just feel frustrated myself constantly that I'm not doing enough. I don't say like some goody two-shoot thing. I mean, I know this is pure evil. If this was, like I said, Dukes of Hazzard's Boss Hogg, he just wants to run stuff, I'm not going to risk my life fighting Boss Hogg. Boss Hogg isn't trying to, screw 5-year-old kids. He isn't trying to put cancer viruses in people. He's corrupt, but he just wants the money. But, I mean, it's like, let me ask you this way. How would you quantify the world system and what it wants? The thing we're fighting, what is it looking for? How do you define the enemy?
The enemy wants our soul. And you know what? I'm going to repeat what you said before in the past. We have to get on our knees and pray. That's the first thing that we have to do. The second thing is and a lot of people get upset with call them preppers, And I was watching Tim Pool when he was on Joe Rogan, when he was saying, I loved it. He said, do you have Band-Aids in here? I mean, are you expecting? I mean, it's something really that simple. We have to prepare not only our souls, our spirits, but we have to prepare for what's to come. I mean, if all the electricity went out, like you said, if all the electricity went out and there's no technology, you can't get on social media, what do? What's going to happen? I mean, we're all going to be stuck somewhere. And actually it was Rob Doom. He said, what are we going to do? Some people can't even read a map. We have to go back to some basics now.
I agree. Within 10 days, the average person's a cannibal. And I know how to change a tire and do basic stuff, but compared to my grandpa, who knew how to do electricity and fix combines and do everything, and my dad knows a lot. I mean, my grandpa was amazing. My dad's pretty good. I'm okay. My son, and that's my fault, doesn't know how to skin a buck or run a trot line. And you're right. It's like we don't know how to do anything anymore.
Yeah, it's some of the basic stuff. I mean, some people don't even know how to tie a hook on a fishing rod. I mean, really, some people don't even know how to do that. Some people don't even know how to fish. And we've stopped. And if they try to make it where it's against the law to fish, or they're raising prices on it to where people don't even want to buy the license. But we have to get back to basics. And first and foremost, we have to get on our knees in prayer. And you know what? One thing I always say is that even though we get on our knees and pray, we have to act on our prayers. So, for example, if I want a job and I don't have a job and I sit on the couch and I'm praying for a job every day, Lord, give me a job, and I don't get out and act on it, God is not going to come knock on the door and give me a job. I have to do my part. It's the same thing with the InfoWars. You have to go out and do your part. You can sit there and talk about, before you even started InfoWars, if you just sit there and talked about, you know what, I want to do this, I want to do that, and if you never took that initiative to do InfoWars, it would never be where it is today. It would never be where it is today. So you prayed and you had to take the initiative. And look at it now. You're at the point to where so many media, the Democrats, they all hate you because you're doing such a positive, wonderful thing. InfoWars is the top of the spear. And for me to be here, I take it with great pride and great honor. And I'm willing to get in this fight. I want to be in this fight.
Here's the good news.
And people need to recognize what's happening.
InfoWars is only a platform for people like you, and you're doing as good as I am or better. But let me expand on that, and then we're going to go to your special report and have Rob Do take over. There's an argument about whether the Earth's overpopulated or whether it's underpopulated, and it's a very complex issue. You could write textbooks on it. You could talk for a million years. But I'm going to say this. This is profound, folks. I want you to listen to me carefully. If we believe in a pro-human future and let the technologies that have been developed be used, we could have 50 billion people who are going to go to the stars. But if we believe in the anti-human future and that humans are bad, 1 billion people's too many. There's 7,600,000,000 people. We're going to top out at about 10 billion. And if you don't have 2.1 children for every 2 people that are already alive, Social Security collapses, everything collapses. You need kids to take up. The robots aren't going to do it. But the globalists are building a future where from Japan to Italy to the U.S., indigenous populations, whether it be black, white, Hispanic, are having 1.3 kids. That's not going to do it. So they're building a collapse, telling us there's too many people. And under their model, there is too many people. But under the model of innovation, it's unlimited. So they're artificially creating a post-human world in their own words. So everybody that wants this secure future on the left is saying abort kids, they're going to take care of me in the future, and balloon deficits and do all this. And then their own ideology is bring down civilization, we're bad for the earth. Let me explain something to the left. There are 468 operating nuclear power plants in the world. Their average age is 34 years old. They're supposed to be retired at 35 years. Many are 45 years old. If there was a cataclysm and energy went down, within a few months, most of those reactors would melt down, making the earth uninhabitable. Okay? Forget nuclear war. So everything you're doing about a post-industrial world, if you don't have a carrying capacity to take care of the 7 billion plus that are here, they'll act like army ants or locusts. I don't care if they're Europeans. I don't care if they're Africans. I don't care if they're Latin Americans. Everybody within 4 or 5 days starts robbing. Within 10 days, cannibalism, 70% engage in cannibalism, 30% kill themselves. They've done studies. We're talking, Viggo Mortensen has been on the show, The Road, with another great actor, obviously. But the point is, this is real. This isn't a game. And the globalists have armored redoubts. They believe they're going to trigger a collapse. And then out of this, there's going to only be a few 100 million people. That will never happen with the reactors. That UN plan to have a controlled culling, you're not going to release a bioweapon that kills 90% of people and not have nukes get launched out of Pakistan and India. Once everybody's dying, people just start punching buttons. And so the elite have bought into this world government depopulation program. And if you look at every angle of every actuary, it's designed to destroy the planet. So we need to pull back from this satanic pipe dream of the Rockefellers that Hitler picked up on, that then got picked up by others later, and say, this is not our plan. But we know Revelation and how it goes. So that's really the rest of the story, Will Johnson. I interrupt constantly because your spirit's so strong, your points are so powerful, it triggers me. But 5 minutes about closing arguments, where we are historically in 2019 in March, and where you see this going before we play this great report you did. I love these focus groups you did. I wish I could pull stuff off like this, where you go out and talk about diverse panel discusses why blacks are still Democrats and whites are labeled racist. That's coming up. And then we've got Caitlin Bennett or Ask Me Anything coming up with Rob Dew.
You know, it's the year 2019. And if we don't wake up now, President Trump will be the last decent president this country will ever have. With him trying to remove the Electoral College, with them trying to bring in illegals to vote, where they're trying to lower the age of people being 16 to vote, where they're trying to change little boys to think they can be girls. We are on the verge of just, I mean, this is like the Death Star. And we're on the verge of just imploding, exploding. And what's going to happen next is, you know, it's unbelievable what's going to happen next. I mean, I can go on and I can make stuff up and give my opinion and pray that it doesn't happen. But everything that the left has been doing, it's like it's just coming out. It's like
Will,
the genie has been let out the bottle, and they're going to do it.
Go with your gut. What's going to happen? No, tell us. You're a smart guy. What do you see in your gut?
I think what's going to happen, this is just me, and I pray that I'm wrong. I pray that I'm wrong. That they are going to do something so bad, because everything that they've done to try to take out the president and destroy this country has failed. It has failed. When you have government agencies like the FBI trying to take out the president of the United States, and we're all seeing it with this coup that's taking place, everything has failed. Different things.
They're
the media trying to take
the
out the president. It has
They're
failed.
trying to have a race war.
Yes, the 5G that's coming in, when they're getting ready to implement this 5G, in the 5G, my opinion, that's when they're going to start implementing the chip and telling people that they got to get it in their arm. I have a thing right here on my desk where California is doing the real ID. It's, guess what's next? The chip. The chip. They're getting ready to force everybody in California to get the real ID. And people don't even realize it. The 5G coming into place, they're going to be able to track you right where you are.
Sweden's doing it just to talk about it. Keep going. Sweden's already saying, got to have a chip to ride the bus.
Yeah, I mean, 5G is going to be the mechanism that's going to push it over the edge. And I'm telling you, and this is another thing. With them bringing all the people in here, my personal opinion that one of the things that they're going to do to change people's mind about getting this chip, and they're going to push it to illegals. If they come in, if they get rid of President Trump and they have another Democrat that's going to destroy this nation, they're going to say, you know what, you're welcome to come on in, receive this chip. This is just me talking, okay? I pray that I'm wrong. But if they're going to encourage people to get this chip, come on into the country. They're going to make it a free path that way. Right now, they just want to bring them in to get their votes. So that way they can change the craziness to even crazy moreness. That's even the word. But it's what's happening to all of us is this great awakening that is taking place in the year 2019, 2020. We've got to stop being, excuse my language, kitty cats. I'm going to say it like that. We've got to stop being kitty cats and stand up to the left. Stand up to this evilness. About times how the GOP doesn't say anything when you have the left come out. I'm so disgusted with the GOP. And you mentioned it earlier. The GOP, the Republicans, they're not peachy, they're not angels, but my God, when it comes to what the Democrat support, they're completely different. There is a total difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. The Democrats, the common denominator with all the Democrats is that they want to destroy this country, destroy the president. And another thing, this whole thing, how they're using to brainwash people, is that they always say that people are white, the right wing, they're the hate group attacking people. And more of this is coming come 2020 to try to make it look like that everyone that supports anyone on the right is against America and they're racist and they're the terrorists. That's the way they're trying to label us.
It's crazy.
But
it's crazy.
If they had anything, if the liberal media had anything, do you not believe that they would be showing the footage of people on the right going out attacking people at these leftist rallies? Ilhan Omar is going to be in LA this weekend. I'm going to be there covering it. Ilhan Omar, she's going to be at a CARE meeting. I'm going to be there covering it. And I want to show everybody that when conservatives show up to these anti-American, these anti-Christian events, that we're not the violent ones. She's going to be in LA, and a lot of people, she should be out of Congress. I don't even know why she's even participating any longer. And another awakening is the people in the Jewish community. See, the Democrats are exposing themselves. They're showing themselves. They're showing their true colors. And even now the Jewish community is walking away from the Democrat Party, which I don't understand why some Jewish people are still in the Democratic Party.
I was about to say, though, why are the Democrats...
with black people?
Why are the Democrats... Your Skype's breaking up. Your powerful message here, Will Johnson. And I can't wait to see your live reports. We'll post them to Infowars.com and newswars.com, and people should spread those because you're going out there on the front lines doing this. The audience is awesome, but listeners, remember, get these videos out. We'll be airing them here. Why would we ally ourselves? Why is the left almost committing political suicide? They can't help themselves.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I say that all the time because you're absolutely right. They would rather destroy themselves than to allow President Trump to continue. I mean, they're willing to do it. The same thing with the tech tyranny. These big tech companies are willing to destroy themselves if it means pushing their agenda. You know, I hosted your show Tuesday, which was a great honor. Wednesday, Facebook banned me for 30 days. And they didn't even give me a reason why they banned me for 30 days. So I went on Twitter complaining about it, and I went on Instagram complaining about it. I appealed it, and then they put me back on Facebook, but they won't allow me to broadcast on Facebook, and they won't tell me why. And all I did was just do my broadcast. I have a broadcast what I do with 4 black men that love this country, respect the president, that don't hate white people, and they shut me down. And I think what it was is because I mentioned, or not me, but one of my guests mentioned how the Democrats support pedophilia the same way the Muslims do. And I think that was the nail in the coffin for it. But it's just, we're speaking. It's absolutely true.
Yeah, since when? And again, you're absolutely right. Well, we need to have that show you're doing on here on radio and TV stations. We're going to get that set up. We finally got the crew hired to do it. And Will Johnson, you're absolutely in fuego, and we appreciate you and we love you. And just don't back down. But what I've told everybody, all our great reporters and auxiliary reporters, is I'm like, I don't care as long as you're reporting the truth. You don't even need to be affiliated with us because they'll target you. Start a backup Facebook. Start a backup Twitter, a backup YouTube with like a political name or something that's yours as well, so that as you get so popular and reach tens of millions of people a week, like Will does sometimes, usually over 1 million a week, sometimes 10 million a week, that you've got a backup, because that's where this is going. So, Will, let's talk very, very soon. Please come to town as soon as you can to try to get you fully in the saddle here. And we really, really appreciate you, and God bless you, my friend.
God bless you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care what color you are or where you came from. If you love God and you love liberty and you understand what's going on, I love you. And Will Johnson's my brother. He's on fire, and he needs our support, and that's why we need money. That's why they're trying to shut us down, why they got all these fake lawsuits. No matter what I do, they try to rule against us because they want to shut this down. But they're fighting the last war they already lost, folks. We're already on to the next thing. But your capital right now, I can't get into everything that's going on behind the scenes, is critical as seed money to the genesis of things. If you think InfoWars has been powerful, if you think the stand we've made has been great, you've got my commitment, ladies and gentlemen, that bigger things are coming. But I need your prayers, and I'm thankful for them. I need your word of mouth, and I'm very thankful for that. I need your financial support, and I make it easy. And, you know, my problem is we've got a thrift audience, which is my same problem, and I sell things the way I want to buy them. Great high quality at the lowest price, and then I do so many discounts. People get used to the discounts. They only buy stuff when it's discounted. So, you know, I might sell something for $20. It costs me $15, and then, you know, it takes a lot of selling, a lot of that to make money to fund the operation. But we got a bunch of big specials, store-wide free shipping, 50% off all the supplements, a bunch of other big sales. Please go to InfoWarsStore.com, pick a T-shirt, pick a book, get a shortwave radio, sign up for auto ship on things like Wake Up America Coffee, or order some and see how great it is, and sign up for auto ship, get an additional 10% off. And it can ever be 15 days, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, out to 9 months. You can cancel anytime for free, and you get the coffee with its 98% approval rating. You get the toothpaste every month or every 2 months. Cancel any times, get 10% off. So it's all about win-win. You tithe to the truth. You support us, you get 10% off on top of it. Because I treat you like I want to be treated. But whatever you do, know this. Your will is my will. It's really true. We stand together. And I just get frustrated that I'm not strong enough sometimes to pull the rabbits out of hats. I need to and stand up for the children. But you know what? You're there holding me up, and I appreciate that. I'm comparing myself to Moses, but it's kind of like that. I'm hearing you're holding my arms up. Or maybe that was Gideon, I forget. The point is that we got their number. We've really pissed off the pedos and the rest of them. And so, number one, I need your prayers. Number two, I need your word of mouth. And number three, I need those dirty Federal Reserve notes that you can transfer into coffee and toothpaste and protein bars and fish oil and so many other great products at InfoWarsStore.com that are good things where we work hard to bring you the very best. I mean, I go to these companies and I go, this is like 2 years ago, I go, I want, turmeric's the best-selling thing out there. I want the strongest curcumin level that anyone has. They go, well, top companies are 70%. The average is 5%, 3 to 5%. And I said, well, what could you do? Went to 3 companies. And they said, we can do 95% curcuminoid, but no one's ever done it. And they said, we're not even sure it's effective at that level. Like, we think 20% might be just as good. I said, I don't care. I don't care. I neurotically have to try to give you the best thing I can. And that means most of our products are not in a glass bottle because that costs more money. But when you get our fish oil, or you get our turmeric bodies, or you get our iodine X2, or you get any of it, man, you got to know that God can blast me into the ninth circle of hell if I'm lying to you. Like, I go out and I go, what are the highest rated gravity-fed water filters? This is 15 years ago. There's only 2 companies back then, and they'd had a market corner, and they started putting out crap. So I turned them down and lost about $5 million over 2 years to fund our operation. Sounds like a lot. It's not when you've got 100 employees and all this bandwidth and millions every month for the, everything. And people were like, wait, you're not going to take gravity-fed filter advertisers? I said, no, the 2 companies that are out there have decided to crap all everyone, and the stuff breaks, and we tested it, and it doesn't work anymore. Then ProPure and Alexapure came along. In the test, we did apples and oranges. They're, one chemical it's 100% with other it's a 99.9, and then one chemical is 99.9, other it's 100%. They're apples and oranges. Both ProPure and Alexapure are excellent, and we've got the whole thing. You think I'm going to sell you a water filter that isn't rated the best and for the best price? Seriously, it isn't about you or me. I will not screw people over. It's metaphysical. It's call it superstition. It's actually God-fearing. God, the way God's come through for me so many times, the things that have happened. And it's all because I'm just not out to screw you. I'm not some perfect person, but I'm not out to screw you. And that's why if you just buy the products, it's going to piss George Soros and Hillary Clinton and these dirt bags. You ought to see the enemies we got to face. They are so pissed we're still standing. They don't know what to do, ladies and gentlemen. They can't even understand it. So Caitlin Bennett's coming up with an Ask Me Anything on Reddit. And with Rob doing, there's so much coming up. I really appreciate you. We'll go right through tomorrow with David Knight, 8 a.m. tomorrow, myself, 11 a.m., Owen Schroyer, all of it. This is it. This is the defense. This is the defense of the unborn. This is the defense of the right to keep and bear arms. This is the defense of America. This is what's left. This is it. And I sit here and I take my place willingly. But I want to explain this for the 10,000th time, because if you make it heroic, if I say you're a hero for supporting us, it's a lie. If I say I'm a hero for standing up for the unborn, it's a lie. It's not heroic to stand up for the unborn. It's not heroic to stand up to the Chi-Coms taking over our government. It's self-preservation. And God helps those who help themselves. I mean, that's really all this is. And so if they can make it like, oh, Alex, you're so great for standing up against the New World Order. I'm great for standing up against people that are allied with the Chi-Coms that killed 5 times what Hitler did and who want to kill babies after they're born. And I'm really a badass for standing up against Media Matters and these degenerates. Well, if that's so powerful, then I give up. But you know what? It's not powerful. I want to bring back the default. You know, people in Texas, until Texas wasn't Texas, were very polite. And it wasn't because everybody was a bunch of wimps. It was because if you smarted off to somebody, they're at least going to call you outside for a fist fight or maybe for a duel. And I'm not even defending that type of culture. But I'm saying, how far have we come from people who were ready to die any minute if it was about the right thing, because they were so close to God, to people that are ready to give their children up and everything for a few more days watching ESPN and a few more days eating filet mignons. All I'm saying is, in the universe, pick God and the unborn and creation and destiny and make that your pole star. Make that your North Star. Don't make ESPN or women or men or whatever it is you're into your pole star, where you'll shell out as long as you get that and then lose everything else. We're going to air Will Johnson's report, and then Rob Dew's going to take over, and I really appreciate the skeleton crew we have doing this. We're fighting hard, and their job security is in getting more crew members so that we can launch some new shows. We're about a year behind, but we want to launch more shows. We're going to do it soon. I promise you we're working towards it, and I'm very thankful for all of you. But there is spiritual wickedness in high places, as the Bible tells us. And there are people angry at our human potential. And I'm not going to say this to act cool, because I look like an old hippopotamus today. But I always would wonder why, back when I was like 16, 17 years old and looked like a Calvin Klein model, why people got so angry at me, and why girlfriends would like say, you look better than me, and it makes me angry. You ever think about that spiritually? The globalists know you have God's birthright, and you have that whole potential future. You can be black, you can be white, you can be old, you can be young. You love God, your ancestors did. You've got that power. And they see what you've got, and they don't like you. It's not about physical beauty. It's about spiritual connectiveness. And you have that birthright, and you can ignore that birthright. You can throw it over the side of the cliff. The devil knows. And the devil wants to mount your head on the wall like a grizzly bear or an elk he hunted and say, I beat that person. I took them to hell with me. And that's really what this comes down to. The spiritual world's real. You're being hunted, and you have to break with the enemy, and you have to choose God. And you're going to feel like you're going to be persecuted, but you're not. Because this life is just like a snap of the fingers. You don't want to fear those that can kill the body, but those that kill the soul. All right, I want to thank the crew. Let's go to this Will Johnson report. And then Rob Dew's coming in with Caitlin Bennett and so much more tonight. I almost feel guilty doing a 50-hour broadcast with like 15 crew members, but I appreciate everybody staying up late. A lot of stuff's coming up. Listeners, please spread the links, because it's not just your action. God's watching and wants to see the action and the commitment, and then God takes us the next of the way. That's what faith's all about. Thanks for watching, and God bless you.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
And now, through the end of March, we are running the biggest special of this year. So far, it matches any other special we've ever done. So this is the best deal we've ever offered. Free shipping store-wide. That's free shipping store-wide. Free shipping store-wide. 50% off all the supplements, a bunch of other great deals as well. Double Patriot points. Instead of 5% on each order towards your next order, you get 10% right there in your profile. Sign up for auto ship, cancel anytime for free, get an additional 10% off on your next order. That's 20% off. You add that to 50% off and store-wide free shipping. Most of these products are loss leaders. So I want to thank you all for supporting the InfoWar. I want to encourage you today to get great products in the 360 Win at InfoWarsStore.com. Voting with our feet, voting with our dollars, voting with our mouths, voting with our speech, voting with our action. Free shipping store-wide. That's free shipping store-wide. Free shipping store-wide.